The story in college basketball once again yesterday was Middle Tennessee. Kermit Davis' squad continues to roll. Winners of an NCAA tournament game for the second year in a row. And the aforementioned head coach joins CBS Sports Radio right now. Coach, congratulations. How is the feeling you have this morning after winning an NCAA tournament game for the second year in a row? Different than the feeling you had last year when you upset Michigan State.
Yeah, it's a great feeling both years, John. You know, I think it's a game, and not to sound arrogant at all, because I thought Minnesota's a really good team. I think our guys had more of a mindset that they thought they were going to win. And it'd be a tough game, and so I think they expected good results. You know, last year, I don't know, we all knew if our very best would beat Michigan State. So it's kind of a more business-like mindset, I think, John, and that we've really moved on to Butler even last night when we met late.
You know, I think it's interesting, Coach. You know, I heard your press conference yesterday, and you talked about when you took over Middle Tennessee's program, you wanted to emulate Butler. As you watch that program from afar, the team you're going to play on Saturday, what was it about the Bulldogs program that made you so envious?
Well, number one, obviously, is just, you know, sustainability. That there were some programs like, you know, Butler, Gonzaga, obviously, which is such an elite level, VCU. Those are the programs that we were hoping. And what I loved about Butler is, like last year, John, there was only 7 teams in the country that won an NCAA tournament game and had a 100% graduation rate. We were one of them. Butler was one of them. I think Kansas, Duke, Notre Dame, Iowa. So not only is it very good, just from a basketball standpoint, but just the overall culture of winning and how you handle yourself and academics. That was what was so appealing to me, and they just seem like they just do it year in and year out.
Well, you know, your program's doing it year in and year out right now, and you have an opportunity again to be in a situation to be a story from a national perspective. As you look at your team this year versus your team last year, other than Ja'Cory Williams, the transfer from Arkansas, what are the biggest differences?
Our depth, John, you know, obviously, you know, Potts and Upshaw are back, so they're better. You know, good last year, but just a year older and better and more seasoned and more mature. And then Ja'Cory Williams, you know, he plays with as good as edge as anybody. But really, that guy has really made us different, John, is our freshman point guard, Tyreek Dixon. He's got an unbelievable assist-to-turnover ratio. He has great toughness, and he plays 28, 29 minutes a game. But probably the biggest thing is just like yesterday, when we took Williams and Upshaw out in the first half. I mean, Brandon Walters, who's 6'10", 260, and Adonis Foot, and some of those guys came in and really were the ones that kind of spread the lead out.
Kermit Davis, the head coach of Middle Tennessee, joining Jon Rothstein here on Tiki and Tierney on CBS Sports Radio. Blue Raiders beat Minnesota yesterday. We'll get a showdown with Butler coming up on Saturday. And, you know, Coach, it was interesting. You know, really everybody in America was picking your team to advance when the brackets came out. How, as a coach, did you manage that type of buzz, even though you were seeded 12th?
You know, we didn't talk about it at all because – and it's all relative, and I understand this is an NCAA tournament game, but, John, we have been favorites probably in our last 22 games. So we've had in our league and really maybe only in a couple games all year long where we may be underdogs. So we've kind of had that, and our guys just were, you know, that they understood, you know, the quality of opponent, but I thought they knew they were going to play well, and we just prepared. But we didn't talk about it all. Maybe in the last meeting, the day before the game, we just talked about, you know, Minnesota, so I'm sure enjoying playing with a chip on their shoulder and a Big Ten team. Kind of everybody's picking us, and we knew we'd get their very best shot physically.
Kermit, you know, your team has become obviously a major story in college basketball. Everybody knows your program now on a different level. You, though, carried a lot of pressure throughout the regular season because Conference USA was seen as a potential one-bid league. How do you think the success you had over the past 2 years can help elevate your brand so you can get better games so that would put you in a situation to be an at-large candidate moving forward?
Yeah, you know, John, it's a great question. It's something, you know, it was kind of alarming to me. And obviously we were excited about being in the tournament. But going forward, when I saw our 12th seed and then saw where they ranked us out of 68 teams, 48, I mean, we were ranked in the coaches poll top 25, 26 in the AP, and then, you know, all those 17 wins away from home, all the different things. and our non-conference strength of schedule was 18th in the country. And all we got was 5 opportunities in the top 100. Now, we won 4 of them. So going forward, it was like alarming, like what in the world do we do? Well, the only thing, our league is not ranked very high. And so this shows that we got to get the bottom half of our league better, spending more money. I know we got really good coaches in our league, and then our whole league has got to play better in November and December because, you know, I thought we'd for sure be in if we got to the championship game and got beat, but I don't know, John. After how they ranked us, I'm not real sure.
Well, obviously your team is on an unbelievable run. You know, you went 17-1 in conference play. You won your conference tournament. You have now won, which is unbelievable, 21 of your last 22 games. But a different animal awaits coming up on Saturday against Butler. I know you're a big film guy. What are the biggest things you've taken away from looking at the Butler Bulldogs on film over the last, 15 or 16 hours?
Yeah, you know, John, I'm sitting here watching them right now in our film room. It's their balance, their size, just, you know, spacing offensively. And then when you turn over, you know, you turn on the tape and you watch them at Villanova, so you know when they're geared up and they're ready to play their best, how locked in they are. And you beat Villanova twice, and then obviously if you can do that, then you win a national championship. And so, but I love their balance. I love their physicalness. They've got good depth. Shabazz, they're big. You know, everybody wants to double them, and that's almost when they're at their best. He's a .5 that can really play make.
No, he can really play make. And, you know, one thing, too, I always noticed about Butler, Coach, was it's ironic when you look at their program because names change, and Chris Holtman will be the first person to tell you this. 6 of Butler's 11 players coming into this year hadn't played a single minute in the Big East, and yet they're a 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. What does it say about a program when the name changes but the brand stays the same?
Well, that's when I say I want to emulate Butler because that's what they've done over all these years, and it's culture, it's a system, it's how they play, it's how they expect to handle themselves, I'm sure, in practice. The whole thing. I mean, you don't do that, you know, because I know Butler is recruiting at a high level, but it's still tough for everybody to go out and beat the Power Fives and a lot of players. So it really is culture, and I think that's something that we're starting to simulate, and you can just see it, John. I mean, it's exactly right. You can just see these guys and how they fit and how they play.
A year ago, you beat Michigan State. You become the story of the NCAA tournament. Yesterday, it felt like it was a business-like win, almost like a conference game in the middle of January. Take us inside your locker room after you beat Minnesota yesterday. What was the effect like on your team?
Yeah, you hit it right on the head. That's exactly what it was. It was like just winning a game in February. Trust me, you're all excited about winning an NCAA tournament game, but I'm telling you, they directed their attention right to Butler. I mean, they handled themselves in the media. I mean, it was great to win, but I think it's just the maturity of our team, and that's kind of how we handle ourselves all year.
Kermit, you've won one game. You saw how it changed your life. You had arguably the greatest upset in the history of NCAA tournament basketball last year. But I've always felt that winning a second game changes a program because there's that 4 or 5 day grace period. What do you think it would mean for Middle Tennessee to get a team on campus on Sunday that will be playing in a Sweet 16?
Yeah, it would be. It's been a huge goal, and I think it was a goal of Reggie and Giddy's after last year. And I think it's been a goal of we haven't put any kind of Sweet 16 size up in the locker room or anything, and hadn't talked about it. But I can feel it. They would love to. You think about it, John. I mean, the Sweet 16 is in Memphis, in our home state. And some of the teams that could obviously be there, the blue bloods of college basketball. So it would mean a great deal and just taking another huge step with Middle Tennessee hoops.
What is the agenda like for you guys today?
You know, we're just our game, we just found out it's going to be a little bit later tomorrow, which I think is good, is at 6. And, you know, we're going to eat breakfast. We'll watch some tape, short edit tape of Butler, do our media stuff in the arena, and have about an hour and 20-minute practice at the arena. And that practice is closed, so to an average fan, when it's open, you can't go through all your scouting. but when it's closed, and you can do everything you need to do right there. And then we'll come back, and we usually really take it easy, the night before a game. We'll have a meal and maybe a quick meeting, and then kind of start our game day preparations tomorrow.
All right, final thing right now. You've been in the film room. You have studied Butler. What are the biggest keys to getting by the Bulldogs on Saturday and reaching the Sweet 16?
Well, you have to run really good offense because it's a really good position defensive team. I think that I would be shocked. I don't know if it'll be a high-scoring game. I think both teams are good defensively. You've got to be able to handle Chavez. I mean, I know he's only averaging about 9 a game in the last 5 games, but he makes everybody so much better. And then their guards, Baldwin and Woodson and Savage. So there's multiple things, but in these kind of games, it usually comes down to rebounding, 50-50 balls, and maybe the team that can get the most cheap baskets.
March is for dreamers, Kermit, and I know you are a dreamer. You're 40 minutes away from potentially playing top-seeded North Carolina and Memphis. How much is that better than any dream you might have had on your best dream?
You couldn't. I don't know if I've had one that good, John. I promise you, that would be as big as it could get for us, and so for our brand and Middle Tennessee State University. So tell you one thing, we're going to fight like that to try to get to Memphis, that's for sure.
Well, have a good day at prep. Stay healthy during practice. I'll be in touch along the way as always. And again, congratulations on winning an NCAA tournament game for the second consecutive year.
All right, John. Thanks a bunch for having me on. Appreciate it.
You got it. Kermit Davis, the head coach of the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders.